Hi guys and girls on YouTube, and welcome to my channel. So in this video we're going to be looking at this Tatung 14-inch colour portable from somewhere in the 1990s. Now I've been looking to add a Tatung like this to my collection for a while. This isn't the exact one I was hoping for. I was hoping to add one of the earlier Tatungs. This is a little bit later one, and the reason it's a later one is because the front's curved, and if you look at this touch panel here, these are actually big rubber buttons that are sticking up. Now the original Tatung, I'm pretty sure this is fitted with a 190 chassis, but the original Tatung, when it first came out with a 190 chassis, I actually sold a few of them. And they were really good sets. They had a fabulous pitch of coming from a Toshiba black stripe tube, and they had a 4-year warranty. And the only fault I can ever remember is the on and off switch, and the actual touch panel. The buttons used to stick down because it was perfectly flat. And after a short while, Tatung came out with a modification. They came out with a replacement touch control pad that was slightly raised. Now I might still have them in stock. I'll have to just go and have a quick look, but let's just turn round and have a look at the back of this. I think these later ones as well came in different colours. This is a cream one, or it would have been a white one probably when it was new. I'm sure they came in red and green as well. Right, so that's a picture of the back view. Let's have a look at the model. It's TN8904W, made in Thailand. What I'll do is I'll just get out the service manual for the 190 and just check if it matches up to this. And these later ones you could also get with different names on the front as well. They were quite a popular telly. In fact, in my opinion, the Tatung 190 was the last of the great Tatungs. After that they went catastrophically downhill. Right, well unfortunately I haven't been able to find the flat touchpad I was wanting to show you. I do have one somewhere, but I'm not going to spend ages looking for it. I saw it a couple of years ago. Now, but I have found the service manual, and I'm pretty sure that would have been the number for Tatung Technical. And it would be now, is that a Telford number? It would be now 01952. But anyway, let's just get this out and have a quick look. Right, so that's the service manual. Interestingly enough, there's a 190 and a 195, and I can't remember for the life of me what the difference is. So let's just get the back of this telly and see if it matches up to the service manual first, just to make sure it is a 190. Right, so that's the inside view. It's very dusty in there. I think what we'll do is we'll pull the chassis out. I'll give you a quick look, and then we'll hoover it before we do anything else. Now I've noticed, because this is a later variant, it doesn't have the Toshiba black stripe tube. It's Chungao, is it? Just like a cheap Taiwanese one. And if we open this up, this layout is an almost perfect match for that. So I would say that this is a 190 Tatung chassis. But let's pull it out first and have a close look. The scan coil rubbers, I've checked them, they're nice and soft, so that's not of any concern. The major fault in Tatungs was the on and off switch, but I still have them in stock. Right, let's pull it out. Right, so that's a better view of the inside. I think the best thing to do is to hoover it all out first, but I can see something that's caught my eye already, and that is this electrolytic capacitor right next to a hot running wire wound resistor. So that will probably have dried up, so we're going to have to change that. Now let's have a look what the chopper control IC is TDA 4605, is it? Now I think that's a variant or a later spin-off of the TDA 4600, which means we're going to be changing, and I bet it's one of these resistors here before we plug it in. And if you remember on the TDA 4600 there was a resistor, was it about 270k connected to pin 4, collector current simulation, and if that went open circuit, which it did all the time, it would blow the chopper transistor. I think in this case it's an FET. So we're going to change that capacitor, change a couple of resistors, or at least one. I don't know whether they're not in series, are they? It'll probably be that one there, before we plug it in. But it's quite dusty in here, like it's had quite a lot of use. Let's have a look at the underside of the board. Yeah, as you can see around the power supply area there's quite a bit of darkening of the board where it's run very hot. I can't see anything, I can't see any new soldering on this, so this has probably never ever gone wrong. But if I look close up I can see, like for example on there, it probably won't show up on the camera, but there is quite a few dry joints here that'll need attending to as well. So I think we'll do that, and then you can have a better look at it. But just let's have a quick look at that. Oh, I spotted something there, look. 190G series. So it is a 190, this. It will match up to that manual, it's just a lot later production than the original 190. Right, let's get the manual out. So that cap there is actually C803. Right, so let's have a look here. So C803, that is that cap there, and that is the reservoir capacitor for the startup supply for that chip. If you look, it comes from 2 resistors straight from the mains, and then once the chip's actually up and running, this pin is supplied through that diode by an auxiliary winding on the chopper transformer. So if that was dried up, this will make this set completely dead. And if you look there, we do have a pin that says collector current simulation, so we're definitely going to have to change that 470k there as well. So I'll do them first, hoover it all out, and then we'll go for the power up and see what happens. Oh, dry joints, I've got to do them as well. Right, I'll come back in a bit. Right, that's better. Now we can have a proper look at it. That's your microprocessor there. Was it made by Hitachi, I seem to think? Well, the prefixes, although it says Tatung on the prefixes HD, I'm sure they were made by Hitachi. But yeah, that's cleaned up really nice, that. Look at that. So although it appears to have had quite a bit of use, if you look at the darkening on the board there, they're 2 15k startup resistors. The first 470k there, that's collector current simulation. The second one, that's under voltage lockout. I think because they're both connected straight to the mains and straight to this chip, they're going to have like 340 volts on one end and probably 9 or 10 volts on the other. So I'm going to change both of them as a precaution. I'm going to measure the values of the 2 startup ones. Oh, and change that capacitor there, and then we'll see where we go from there. Let's just measure the value of them startup resistors, because they've obviously got quite hot if you look at them. They should be 15k. Right, so there we go. They're only just slightly out of tolerance. It's gone up by 1k. Probably won't make any difference. Let's try the other. Yeah, the other one's a little bit higher. I'm sure that won't make any difference, but I'm going to put 2 new ones in anyway, and we'll be using 350 volt metal film types, or at least high stability ones. Right, so if you look at that, the cap should be, get it in focus, 220 microfarad, and we've got 45 microfarad with an impedance of 15 ohms, so that is definitely faulty. So we probably assume that this set was completely dead. So that's the 2 resistors and the cap there, the first bits to be changed. Now I've put the new cap in already, and if you look there, I've leaned it sideways well away from that resistor. I'm not sure why the resistor's leaning to one side, whether it was put in by mistake or that's factory, I can't remember, but anyway, that's staying like it is and that's leaning with a big gap. So let's change these 2 now. Right, so the collector current simulation resistor, you can see by the blackening on the board how hot that's got. That's why you need to fit a 350 volt metal film. I've actually measured it, it's well within tolerance, but anybody who's dealt with these before will know that these can just go open circuit at the drop of the hat and you'll blow his chopper. So we're just changing this. That'll still work at that value, but we're just changing it for precaution, and we'll change the undervoltage lockout resistor as well. And that resistor's also okay, but just precautionary this. So there we go, 2 350 volt metal film resistors from Farnell. And if you look, it's 470k. It's one of these resistors with a funny colour on. It looks like a 470. It looks like a 47k, but it's actually a 470. I don't know why they come up with these stupid ideas when we've had the resistor colour code for I don't know how many years. But there we go. 2 of them are going in. Right, so that's the 2 new startup resistors there and there. I've stood them off the board. Just like they were, like they came out of the factory for better cooling, and also so you don't burn the board as much because they're going to get very hot. So that concludes the power supply repair. All we've got to do now is attend to these dry joints. Let's I don't know how well they show up on the camera. If you look at that, the degaussing resistor there, the centre leg is dry jointed, and quite a few of these hot areas, so I'm going to attend to that next. That's the chopper FET there, that's probably the snubber resistor and capacitor. All them will need resoldering, and then we'll just clean up this board with some flux remover. So you can't tell anything's been done to it, but you can see the difference where it's darkened. Obviously power supply area where all the heat's dissipated. So yeah, do that next, come back in a minute. Right, so that's it. All the dry joints were confined to the power supply area. I can't see any dry joints anywhere else, line or field. There's just a couple of resistors up here I've resoldered, which seem to be connected to a regulator. So what we need to do now is just give that a quick clean up with a toothbrush, dry it out, and then I think we'll go for the switch on. Right, there you go, that's all cleaned up, good as new. That's the on and off switch there. Right, let's power this up and see what happens. Now, of course, for those of you who think I should be reforming the mains reservoir capacitor before turning on, I'm not going to do that in this case, because I have this gut feeling that this set wasn't used that long ago. The condition it's in, I don't know, let's just call it instinct, but it seems to me like it's been used not too long ago, and it's probably been ridded because it went completely dead because that cap was dried up. So for that reason I'm just going straight to the plug-in from the mains. So I've got to just slide this back in first. Don't forget the scan coil connector, of course, because there's no interlock on there to kill the HT to the line stage. And then we'll just turn it around, power it, see what happens. Right, so here we go. I'm going to have to turn it on the front of the set because there's a pair of momentarily contacts on the switch, so we can't just turn it on from here. So here we go. Oh, now it's actually come on in standby, so you do need to turn it on from here. Here we go. Ah, right. So it came on, went off. I wonder if the switch is faulty because we've no channel display there, look. Yeah, it's not very good, that, is it? And it's also... oh no, it's not stuck on 8. It does change channel. But that's not turning off, so it does need a switch as well. But let's just have a look. We should be able to tune it now it's on. Let's get an not an aerial, let's get a skybox connected to it. Right, let's see if it tunes in. We can change the switch after. I presume you just press these. I can't see any other button, and then press memory to store. Let's have a look. So that lights up there when we press the button. Ah. And then press M to store, I think. Yeah, well, it's a perfect picture. And I've just realised 11:40, it's dinner time for me. So I'm just going to stop this video and come back in a bit. Right, okay, so back to this again. Right, now I've just had a look for a switch. I found this one, which is a printed circuit board with 2 remote contacts on, but it has a flange on there, and this one doesn't have that flange. Now, although it's not the right one, I don't see why it won't do, because the only reason I can see for that flange is so the button doesn't slip down here. So I would think that this is a better one. So let's just put that in, see. I get it out of the bag and you can see it better now. See the difference? That's got a flange on, the other hasn't. Right, so that's the new switch fitted. It didn't seem to mind that flange on. In fact, that's probably made it even better. But I've just noticed now there's a few dry joints around the red, green, blue output transistors and the collector load resistor. So I'm just going to solder that up as well. Right, so that's the new switch, and let's try it again. And this time it's straight on, no messing about. Now that black band, of course, is coming from the camera. It's not on the telly. I'm not seeing that. Now we don't have any sound because I forgot to plug the speaker in, which of course is still hanging down there.
a lookout. It even sought to capitalize.
There we go, that's better.
Against a celebrity in modern history. Katie Spencer, Sky News.
Volume back down again. Right, I'll just try the skybox on colour bars. There we go. Look at that, an absolutely perfect picture. Plenty of colour, just how I like it. Look, focusing's absolutely pin sharp. So what do we think about that then? Well, in my opinion, the Tatung 190 was the best or the last of the best TV chassis that Tatung ever made. You might disagree, but these were really, really good sets, apart from the early ones had the keypad problem. So there we go, we've got a capacitor and an on and off switch and 4 resistors to complete this fault. Now there's one remaining thing, one last thing to do on this TV, and that is to put my sticker dated on the back of the TV. Like so. Now in the very early days, when I first started off with like G8s, G9s, GC2110s, I used to actually glue a business card to the back of the TV with some contact adhesive, but then I moved on to these little labels from Able Label, and I've been using them ever since. So there we go, quick video, little tally. And for anybody wondering, I've still got this problem with my back. Well, actually it's not in my back anymore, it's gone into my leg. People are saying in the comments I've got sciatica. I find it very difficult to lift anything heavy. I've just about managed this little portable, but I certainly couldn't lift a 22-inch TV. So just for the foreseeable future, hopefully not long, there'll probably be no large screen video videos going onto YouTube at the moment. I've still got a few odd videos still on my camera to put on, but perhaps for next week too you might not see anything big. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. That's the 14-inch Tatung 190 chassis TV. Many thanks for watching. If you like it, subscribe, because there will be more coming. Thanks for watching everybody, and goodbye.